We're 3 Pawns, and this is our first game ever, Wake Up Sheeple. I'm Albie.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Ben. We're coming at you live from our secret base outside of Schmindianapolis, Indiana, because we're here at Gen Con. We've had a great response over the first two days of demoing our game.
Yeah, tomorrow is our last day. We start bright and early tomorrow at 9 a.m. and our last event ends at noon. So if you want to get in on this game, you got to visit us early tomorrow. We are in Exhibit Hall D. We are at black tables 10 through 12.
So I'm going to give you a quick breakdown on how Wake Up Sheeple works. So Wake Up Sheeple is a game about crafty conspiracy theories. In Wake Up Sheeple, there are 3 decks. There's the event deck, the motive deck, and the subject deck. Each people at the table will take the role of either the general public or the mainstream media. People who take the role as the general public will draw one event card and look at the event and ask a question about what really happened. These events can range from the Great Pyramids of Giza, Area 51, the fall of the Soviet Union, the Berlin Wall. Things from history that have really happened, or items like vaccines or GMOs or global warming that are shrouded in kind of a conspiracy. Everyone else at the table is taking the role of the mainstream media. They will draw 5 motive cards and 5 subject cards. Motives are just why we do things, like to avoid going to work on Mondays, to appease your cat, to get out of doing chores, to stop your son from watching anime. Subjects are things like are people, places, things, and groups, like engineers, Darth Vader, Han Solo, Ronald Reagan, President Nixon, things like that. So the mainstream media would then have to take one motive, one subject from their hand, and smash them together and tell the general public what really happened. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Ben and Zach will take the role of the mainstream media, and I'm gonna be the general public. I'm gonna draw one event card, and each event card has what the conspiracy is, a briefing of what it is. For example, I drew global warming, and for the briefing we put global warming is the observed century-scale rise in the average temperature of the Earth's climate system in climate system and its related effects. So the mainstream media at the table, in case you don't know what it is, it's totally legit for them to read the briefing. And also below it we have an example prompt for people to ask if they don't know what question to ask. So my card is global warming, and I'm going to ask, climate change is made up, and I know this, but I don't know who's making it up, and why are they doing this?
Okay. You've got something to jump in.
Oh no, I would much rather wait to hear yours.
Okay.
Yeah, this is that kind of game.
And we usually play it where people, as soon as they get their idea, they just jump right in.
And because some people will pick up naturally on the improvisation skills, and some people like me who are absolute history nuts have no problem, except for this time when I do it. This doesn't happen to me.
So you said it's fake.
I know climate change.
You know it's fake.
I know it's fake.
No,
The public is already informed before we have a chance to.
I want to know
tell them what
who's.
happened.
I want to know who's saying it's real and why.
Okay.
I suppose we were still deciding.
Yeah.
So global warming, when people are making observations about what's really going on in the environment, they're doing so anecdotally. They're not necessarily looking at the hard data because people have a hard time digesting all of these facts, figures, and these numbers. And it's very intimidating to some of them. So they take a look at what's going on around them. They're going outside into nature, and they're seeing the things that are happening. This is one of the reasons that the conspiracy caught on, because people are noticing a rise in floods, hurricanes, tornadoes, the temperature going up. And nobody is more in tune with the world around them in nature than Bob Ross. That's the guy, he's got the joy of painting, right? It's the public access show where he's painting nothing but nature scenes, and he's got a very calm and soothing voice.
It's beautiful.
And he does the happy little trees. But Bob Ross has got a problem. PBS is produced in New York City, and Bob Ross has a very, very difficult time getting to the studio on time. He was a drill instructor in the Air Force, so he really does appreciate punctuality. But he says, if I can get everybody to stay home during the workday because they're afraid to go outside and breathe pollution and all of these terrible things that these companies are doing to
Don't
us,
watch his shows.
Well, we're getting there. He's got to make the shows for people to watch them. So Bob Roth creates a conspiracy about global warming because I know this is real because I am a nature guy. So that way he can decrease traffic and get to work.
Oh. So Bob Ross just wants to get to work, and he can only get to work if more people don't.
You don't make a lot of money at public access. That's why he recorded 9 million episodes of The Quick Bang.
Fine. That's one story. Okay. So what many people don't know about the discredited British gastroenterologist Andrew Wakefield
Okay.
is that he cannot stand cartoons, especially cartoons out of Japan. So he figured if people focus all their attention, all their concerns, all of their efforts on this hoax of global warming, then maybe Japan will stop making anime. And so he is perpetuating this myth of climate change to take people's attention off of creating anime, so he doesn't even have to deal with it
It was a
anymore.
mistake. I'm giving it to you.
Yeah.
So I believe his theory is truth the most.
It's conjecture.
So so I gave him the event card to note he's gotten a point. And just
Lies and slander.
And just to be clear, for every subject card, there's a brief description underneath in case you don't know who that person is or that thing is. So now Zach will be the new general public to ask me and Ben mainstream media a question.
Okay. My conspiracy is flat Earth. The archaic concept that the Earth is a plane or a disk as opposed to a sphere. I'm going to stick with the example prompt on this one. The Earth is totally flat. Who is suppressing this truth and why?
Earth is flat. Who's keeping? Okay.
So again, I didn't have to stick with this prompt, this example prompt on the card for the question, but it, like Albie did in his first turn, it's really important to ask a question that asks a who and a why. That's really what the news media outlets are aiming to answer for me.
I think I can answer your question about this event with the absolute truth.
Absolute. Okay.
In every culture, there is a figure who's a real person, but more of a metaphor for things that terrify children, especially terrifying children. In fact, he's so ubiquitous with his terror campaigns that everybody calls him his name of something else. They're using his name actually to denote somebody that scares somebody, and that is the boogeyman. Exactly. The boogeyman of something else. I mean, this is a person that he goes all over the world to scare children for whatever his own needs are. I don't know what he could possibly gain by terrifying people, but, you know, he racks up a lot of frequent flyer miles. And one thing that the boogeyman can't stand is having a last-minute need to get across the world and riding coach with the screaming babies. He could just scare them, but that's the thing. The boogeyman tries to do it in secret. The boogeyman needs to buy out all of the tickets on the airplane most of the time so he can just travel by himself. But the boogeyman doesn't make a lot of money. He doesn't get paid for this job. He does it out of the goodness, or I should say, the malevolence of his own heart, if it exists at all. So the boogeyman figures, if I can convince everybody the Earth is flat, they'll stop taking transcontinental flights because they're going to be scared of falling off the world and just dropping into the void. The boogeyman figures that if everybody stops flying, he can easily get upgraded to first class.
Well, you're almost right. You're this close. You're onto something here. And I can totally understand why you would think it's the boogeyman. He looks a lot like the boogeyman. He's in the shadows of like the boogeyman. It's Batman. And I'll tell you why it's Batman. And it does involve flights. Now, Batman
I've
is...
never seen Batman fly.
Batman is, in spoilers, Bruce Wayne. Batman is Bruce Wayne here. Okay. Yeah, please cover your ears. Earmuffs here. Batman is Bruce Wayne. And he's filthy rich. And in this world, he owns all the planes. Everyone knows that. You know that.
I do know that.
You do know that. Yes,
you know that.
That's why
And
I so much for the
he owns
boogeyman
all the
trail.
planes. So so he makes it so that the planes, when they get to the edge of the earth, they just go around back. But why is he doing this? We all know Batman isn't that good at his job. The Joker's still running around. The Penguin's still running around. The Riddler's still running around. Bane's still running around. They're all running around. He ain't killing nobody. All right. He knows that on the other side of the planets, there are a lot more villains. Because the devil lives down there. There's a lot more villains. And he knows if people can get to the other side of the planet, people will be like, hey Batman, what you doing? What you doing here? So he's doing it to avoid having to do work. He's making people, when they're going, they think they're going around the world to the other side of the planet to travel or something, they're actually just turning around and going to another part. And since he's so filthy rich, he owns the planes, he owns the textbooks, he owns everything to make sure people don't know the truth. And he doesn't want to fight crime on the other side of the planet.
I think I actually believe the boogeyman theory.
Ooh, alright.
Yeah.
It was good though because Batman would be the kind of guy who doesn't do work because he's a trust fund baby.
That's right!
Thanks, dead parents, for all
But-
the stuff I have.
Here's another potential conspiracy. Is he bad at his job, or is it job security?
Ooh, that's true. If you're good at something, never get paid. I believe the Joker said that once.
But he's still avoiding do work. He's still avoiding it.
You know, it was close. It's very close. I would have picked yours personally. It was a good embellishment.
Thank you.
But I don't want to help you.
I like the idea of like the boogeyman, especially like the Nightmare Before Christmas boogeyman, just wanted to be in first class.
Oh yeah, I mean, you see how fat Oogie Boogie is. He needs like six chairs just to be comfortable.
And the drink cart comes by and starts unraveling him. You know, he's like he needs some space.
He's got a lot of bugs inside of him to feed, so.
And he sits up there and they're kind of private, so people don't really see him. So they don't really know it's the boogeyman.
The curtains are closed. Close the curtains. All right, I suppose I should be next to read this. Oh, this is a topical event here. This is the Chernobyl disaster.
Ooh. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It's fantastic.
We are
It's not a plug for that.
No,
We are not.
I'm just saying.
I want to be very clear. We are not sponsored by the home box office company. We in no way endorse their amazing content.
I didn't even know. Is that really what HBO stands for?
Yeah.
I had no idea. I had no idea.
Take that up the next time it comes up. Next time it comes up in the game.
Right.
We'll have this figured out. The Chernobyl disaster. This disaster was a catastrophic nuclear accident that occurred in Ukraine, SSR, in April of 1986. A combination of reactor design flaws, incompetent operation, and turned-off safety systems lead to a catastrophic meltdown. This was the worst nuclear incident in terms of cost and casualties. I suppose when it comes to Chernobyl, I want to know who is running these negligent experiments and why they put everybody's lives in danger.
For penny and for pound, I suppose.
This is only our 50 millionth time playing this one.
Okay.
That's really what confident. This man is confident.
So, Chernobyl, nuclear power plant, a lot of radiation, a lot of high energy particles,
Nasty stuff.
a lot of potential mutations around these radiations, right? Mutations sometimes are known to give you powers, whatever, right? So, local hero Ash Ketchum was behind these experiments because you see, in the show that he stars in, he doesn't appear to age, but that's just a trick of the camera. He is actually aging. And he is terrified, absolutely terrified of turning 30. So he started these experiments knowing it was going to cause this huge meltdown that he himself would be a part of, right? So he's not, he doesn't want to go down a villain, so he's going down with the ship, okay? He just doesn't want to turn 30 though. So he put these events in motion to melt down the nuclear power plant so that he would get caught in the radioactive crossfire so we'd avoid turning 30.
He's a Fallout ghoul.
Yeah.
Now that's a load of crap because we've all seen the show. We know Ash is never turning 30. Just
Exactly.
it's because of it. Oh, dude.
You played yourself.
I played
All
myself.
television and all movies are documentaries. Tell your parents.
But I'll tell you who conducted the experiments at Chernobyl. He did it from afar. He did it remotely.
Wow.
And the reasons why are pretty insidious. And I'm sorry you have to hear it first, folks. The man who did this is Bill Clinton. Slick Willie himself.
Oh.
Called in a favor at Chernobyl. He's like, hey, I need you to do some bad shit. And you know why? This is exactly why. My kid won't fall asleep. I need you to unleash a nuclear disaster upon the world to help my kid fall asleep.
Like permanently?
Permanently.
I gotta go with this one because
Or Chelsea.
The Clinton death count conspiracy. It fits perfectly.
Yeah.
But Chelsea?
Obviously, it didn't
Maybe
work
there was,
very well.
maybe there was somebody
The
before
Russians
Chelsea.
stopped it.
Well, Chelsea's alive today. Maybe he had a child in 1986 that could have. I would have liked if had you done a Bill Clinton voice. How's it going, Ukraine? I need you to.
I got dark. Although with Chernobyl as the event, I don't know how else it could have.
We want to give everybody the opportunity to be as dark and as lighthearted as they want.
Mm-hmm.
We're just horrible people.
Right.
I don't know.
Bring it back to you?
Sure. If you want to play some more, or do you want to?
We'll leave it at that.
Okay, we'll leave it at that then.
Okay, well, hopefully you got a good taste of what our game has to offer. We've been playing this all weekend, and yet we still find fresh entertainment and ways to laugh about it too. And we think a lot of the fun of our game comes from the absurdity of the things that you create yourself.
You guys have come up with some of the best conspiracies we've ever heard this weekend.
Oh,
and it
Yeah,
is
like by far.
it's so fun to watch you guys play this.
And a lot of people like we structured this as we lead the subjects before the motives, but some people derive a subject out of the motive, and then the subject is just an extra subject to use. So people are surprising us with how they're playing it, and we're so elated that the reception's been so warm.
Yeah. So thank you guys again for taking time to watch this. Thank you all who have visited our tables. We hope to see some of you tomorrow.